Good morning, Tara.
Good morning.
I have with me this morning Tara Crugnale. I know that's not quite right.
Crugnale, but that's all right.
Right. With Dolce Kimera on King Street in Dundas. And thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm Judy Chapala with the Loft Realty. What's the background of your surname?
It's Italian.
Oh, okay.
So I come from a very proud Italian-Croatian background.
Wonderful. Lovely. So we've got quite a little to get through today, Tara. You're a busy person. So just describe, if you would, your shop, please.
Well, this is our 17th year of business. We started out much differently than we are now, and I think that's always the sign of a business that has staying power, is you have to kind of change with the times. We started out in Jackson Square, and there for 8 years before I decided to move my business to Dundas, because I grew up in Greensville, and I mean, what's better than Dundas? And we started out at 71 King Street West, so directly across the street from where I am now. And we were there for 7 years. And at the end of 2018, I was so fortunate to be able to purchase the building that I'm in right now, 60 King Street West. So I believe after 5 locations, this is my forever home.
Right. Yeah, I gathered that. Yeah, it's a great shop. I mean, I love your shop. It's just the best. It's just, you got good prices, beautiful products. I'm wearing one of your tops right now, and I didn't even plan on it, to be honest, but I am. That's funny. And I understand your mother started the business with you.
Yeah, so I was doing my master's in political science at Mac, and she had this idea of putting together gift baskets. She was doing humanitarian work in the former Yugoslavia during the war there. So we went into Jackson Square to look to just kind of rent a kiosk. And because of the state of Jackson Square at the time, the landlord said, well, just go into one of the stores. And that 1 month of doing that actually gave me an understanding of retail, and I enjoyed it, and I got the bug. You really have to be passionate about what you do. And so on my one hand, I'm a bookworm, but on the other hand, I love the excitement of getting a good deal, bringing it in, appreciating what I sell, and hopefully doing it well.
Yeah, you got lovely things. Do you do the buying?
Yes.
Yeah, and your mom? She's still there.
Yeah, so definitely my mother is in on the weekends. She's in and out. She has this great design element to her. And through her, all the pillows in the shop she makes all of her masks. I like to say that I surround myself with very artistic women. Perhaps I'm not, but the people around me are. And this year has been a little bit different because we can't go to the trade shows and do our buying with COVID. So everything is being done online, but bless the internet. There you go.
Yeah. Do you sell online as well?
Do. So again, after 17 years of not having an operational website, and you'd think that was insane. It is insane, but it just never seemed to be top of mind. We were busy in the shop. I was busy with other things. The idea of putting together a website was quite daunting. But during the pandemic, my husband and I sat down and created something amazing, way better than I thought it would turn out. And my marriage survived, which was also very good. So it's fully operational. Buy online. We can ship worldwide. And we have over 800 items on right now. But every night I kind of go home and try to upload more.
Yeah, I can imagine it is fun. And usually with that kind of exciting career that you've got, there's both sides. There's obviously got to be stress involved, and you're probably, what kind of hours do you work?
Well, before I had my child, I was in here, Tristan, I was in here 7 days a week. I come in at 8:30, 9 a.m., go home at around 6:30 or so. And I have to say that I was so involved in the shop that I didn't know how I could balance the time between work and family. So I'm one of those people that maybe got married a bit later, had a child a bit later. And it is a lot to juggle, but I have an amazing family behind me that helps out, and we try to make it all work. That being said, during these COVID hours, we've really had to shorten the hours because of childcare issues. But starting in September, we'll be in here 7 days a week again.
Good one, yeah. And I know you sell a variety of things like gifts and clothes and home decor.
And that is something that you would ask me previously, and then I kind of skirted away and diverted somewhere else. But yeah, so right now we have a tremendous number of clothing lines that we carry, purses, vegan brands like Pink Sticks and SB and SQ, the decor. So we are kind of gearing now towards a little bit more of the women's accessories side of thing, a lot of jewelry, women's accessories. But when we started, it was all gift baskets and decor. But as I said, you kind of have to morph and change with what people are looking for at the time and what you can be competitive in doing. Like we're dealing with, you know, the behemoth of Amazon right now. So I can't, you know, I cannot compete with them on some areas, so I don't bother. I stick with what I know, our niche, and it's amazing how the people of Dundas always rally around and try to shop and support local.
They sure do. They sure do. I think it's a big thing in Dundas is to shop local. I started doing that. Well, I've done it for a long time, but I like to buy it like Christmas. I just sort of shop in Dundas now. I don't want to go to the mall, or I certainly don't shop online. So it's but what do you find are your greatest challenges in maybe retail or in your shop in particular?
Well, I mean, there's always somebody that's right behind you. So you have to keep investing in new ideas and diverting and making yourself stand out. When people shop in a boutique-like store, like the ones you find in Dundas, they're not looking for a quick in and out. They're coming in and they're looking for the experience of buying.
Yeah.
So that is something that we can offer that a website cannot. They cannot offer, you know, click at home service, which we can too, but it's different. But, you know, you come here to have fun, to de-stress yourself. It's literally retail therapy. So, you know, there are always going to be stresses and issues. And I'm telling you, when we were shut down from March 16th till May 19th. I opened up the day we were allowed to in that stage. It was stressful because this is what I've been doing for 17 years, and all of a sudden I'm at home and it didn't feel right. And so, yeah, but I mean, that wasn't just me, that was everybody. And I feel very badly for those that still are unable to open, because as a retailer that sells my type of merchandise, I can, but you know, games rooms and things probably cannot.
So what is it that does sort of drive you to continue to do what you do? And what is it about what you do that you love?
I love the variety. I love sourcing merchandise. I don't know. I love it's that art of the deal. It's about bringing things in, about having other people enjoy it, finding pleasure in it. There are countless jobs where people just go to make their dollar and come home and wait for a weekend. Whereas for me, I'm like, I'd rather be working on the weekend because that's when most of the action happens. So where I am with it.
Yeah, I'm certainly one of those that I don't know that I'll ever shop line. I like going into a shop and looking at things, and as much as you can, picking those things up. I mean, it's just something about the touching the items for some reason, isn't there? And actually physically seeing them.
It's tangible, and you know, you come in and you can get it. Like the number of times that people that don't know others in the shop will ask for advice on a product they're buying, or how does this look, or you know, it's which color should I get? It's you want to make it fun. You want to make it enjoyable.
Yes. And your shop is lovely. And you know, another thing in Dundas, I find a lot of the shops sort of complement one another, because you're unique in Dundas, really. I mean, there's Strawberry Fields has nice things, of course, and but they're kind of a different style in a way than yours. So,
or Victoriana, and I think that you're correct. You know, all the shops on the block. You know, we recognize that we're like about a 2.5, 3 block radius of the BIA, and it would make no sense for there to be 3 shops selling the exact same thing. So we have, you know, our bakery, we have our sweet shop, we have our menswear, we have our shoes, we have a couple of you know, women's clothing stores. So you know, we all try to complement each other, and the restaurants and spas and hair salons are integral to the street working well, because during that time that I was allowed to be open, but restaurants and salons were not, you could really see the difference in the people that were coming in. They were just coming in on their own to grab something, or, you know, but now that things are open, you know, we're back to, you know, women that lunch, they're going to go to the Taylor's Tea Room, you know, grab a bite, get their hair done at Willow, and then they'll come in and shop. So it's about the entire street working together.
Yeah, I grew up in Dundas as well, and I, even when I was young and was living away from home, I would come home to visit my parents, and it always felt like home to me. And it's just sort of evolved into this beautiful little town.
Yeah.
It always has been. Do you live actually in Dundas now?
I used to. Once I got married, my husband works in Newmarket, of all places. So we're living kind of on that Burlington, Oakville border.
Mhm.
I would love to move back, but I can't do that to my husband at this point, because he already commutes like an hour and a half each way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I still have, you know, my doctor in town. My son goes to Dundas Valley Montessori School. So everything I do is the Hamilton Dundas area.
Yeah, and you're here a lot anyway, obviously,
Yeah.
aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old's your little boy now?
He's 3.5.
Bless him. Yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
sweet?
And bless me. Yeah.
And all you mothers. And where does the name come from, Dolce Kimera? What is that? What does that mean?
That one does come from my mother. We were thinking of a name, and she just said it. And it's an old Italian song, and it means sweet illusion, Dolce Kimera. And so it should be spelled with a K, with a CH, like chimera, but chimera.
Yep.
But the K is just easier.
It is, because you know how people would pronounce it as spelled otherwise.
Well, they make it ready anyway. Most people call us Dolce.
That's great. And so what do you do when you're not at your shop? I know you're quite busy. And for one thing, before you, I do understand that you recently became the chair of the BIA. Is that correct?
That is true. So Phyllis Kramer has been in the role for a century and a half.
Mm-hmm.
She killed her, but so she really lives and breathes the BIA. But I think that she understood that succession planning was the best way to go about it. And after so she's still on the board, but at least she can give guidance. And so we had Oscar Fiorentino jump into the role as president. Then we had COVID, and then he had to transfer offices. And as his VP, I became president. So I really hope to continue in the stream that and vision that Phyllis has for the downtown, because without her, we really wouldn't have a viable BIA.
Right. Yeah. It's certainly viable. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cactus Fest, for one thing, was online this year, wasn't it? Which was quite unusual.
Yeah. I mean, and that's moving ahead. We have different. So the Cactus Fest is its own event, and the BIA is the one that presents the Busker Fest, which all the way back in March, when we first got shut down, we decided and understood that we wouldn't be able to move forward with Busker Fest, because we bring in entertainers from around the world, and they weren't going to be able to travel here. And we had restrictions on the number of people that you could have on the street, and you couldn't have vendors up and down. So we understood even back then, okay, this isn't going to work, and we're just going to hit pause. We still have Halloween and a Dickens of a Christmas that we're trying to work through and establish the best way to, still promote our downtown safely, because we don't want to end up back to what we were dealing with in March.
No. So far, touch wood, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way for sure. So what else do you do for fun or otherwise when you're not working?
For fun. So I am just doing my third term on the Hamilton Future Fund board. So that's through City Hall, where we dole out funds to different organizations in town that can enhance the city. I have a weekly show on Cable 14 called The Opinionators, and I'm the moderator and producer of the show. I've been doing that for over 10 years. So catch that on Cable 14.
Yes.
And yeah, then there's the chairship, and I'm sure there are other things, but
yeah. Well, I know you've always been, in my experience, of course, as you know, I was always chairing that Dundas Seniors Day, and you've always provided us with a beautiful draw prize every year, without sort of going, very graciously you've provided us with a prize, which we always appreciated. We're not having that, of course, this year.
no,
The golf
yeah,
club said they could have the event, but only 50 people. So we thought, well, we'll just wait till next year, like I guess a lot of people are. But
well, and I think that is one thing, though, even about all the shops in Dundas. I think a lot of them are very generous, especially when it comes to local events, because we understand that they need our support, and in turn, they support us. So it's a symbiosis.
Yeah, and there's a lot of businesses in Dundas that have been around for a long time, such as a lot. I can't. Well, the Collins has been there for 200 years or 150 years. But.
Well, I mean, and these are institutions in our town. And I guess it was about 2 years ago, we saw a big shift in Dundas in the number of businesses that, Booth's Furniture, Warren retired and sold the building. And then Heirlooms moved in there. And then we moved across the street. And Kids and Crafts moves down the hall because somebody else bought that building. There's just been a lot of change, and I guess that is generational. But it's nice to see that even though, next to me in the old Kids and Crafts, that's papered up, and it's been papered up for a while, that is going to be something. It should be a restaurant eventually. Things are happening. The old Terraware is going to be turned into, I think, part of Modella. So, you learn something new every day.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Discount Emporium, I think that was always a fun place to poke around in.
And that was sad because Shirley retired, but in the midst of her retirement sale, COVID happens and she has to shut down mid-month. Mm-hmm. So there are still people that come in saying, we really miss that store. It brought something else that was fun to downtown. And, as a BIA, we try to make sure that we have a good variety of things. Like we can't tell landlords what to do, but we can certainly, whisper here.
Yeah, and Chris is going back into Domestique at the corner where Espresso used to be.
Yeah. So he's going there. So and that should be opening up soon. So I think we just have one actual vacancy in the downtown area, but everything else is spoken for.
Tara, it was a real pleasure to get to know you a little bit better, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, all the best in all your endeavors, and I shall see you again, I'm sure. Okay,
Thanks.
bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.